to Selling Mom Jeans. I'm Joy, obviously. I don't know why I'm nervous with you guys tonight. How's everybody doing? I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to get in and get settled and get your cocktails and your notebooks, and then we'll get started in just a few minutes. Hi from Minnesota. Is it as cold there as it is here? It is freezing this week. My driveway is just still a complete sheet of ice from that storm that we got over the weekend. Hey, Andy. Hi, Jason. How is everybody? What's going on? What is Andy? Does Jason have some rum in his tiki? I bet Jason's having rum. I wish I was having rum. I'm not even having vodka tonight or wine. I'm having water. I have been on. All right, so before we get started, I'm just going to say let's address the elephant in the room. And by elephant, I mean that it is January 21st, and that is my Christmas tree that you see behind me. Don't judge me. It's been a month, and maybe this weekend. Yep, my tree is still up. My sister's been in the hospital more than she's been out this holiday season, and she really likes the lights and the tree, so we're leaving it up another week or two, maybe this weekend. Maybe I'll at least take the ornaments off of it. Angela's going to have a drink for me. Yes, I could use some wine. I did not get a chance to have any wine. Yeah, so my tree is still up. I took the outside decorations down. I took the other, Christmas stuff in the house down and put that away. It's just the tree that is still up. And if I get a chance this weekend, I will take it down. But for now, it's in the corner, and I'm going to leave it there for a little while. So, Jason's headed to Frankie's. Nice. I love Frankie's. It's almost time for me to go back to Vegas and visit and head to Frankie's. So, yeah, I can't possibly be the only one whose tree is still up. I just feel like somewhere out there in my viewing audience, somebody's with me on this tree thing. So if you are, come to my defense, because it's definitely still up. So we're going to talk about mom jeans. I'm going to put the slides up. Hey, Pam. And we will do some live questions at the end of the presentation, and you can ask all the questions that you want. I'm really working on not saying all the time in these videos, but I do it when I get nervous. So there you go. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to try and put these slides up and see if we have, and hopefully we don't have the same technical difficulties that we did last time. So let's give it a whirl. All right, give me 1 second. Let's see if it comes up here. I have the other computer over here so I can see what you're seeing, but there's a little bit of a lag. So I'm just going to give it a second and make sure that the slide comes up. It did not work last time. I don't use StreamYard a lot, and so I don't want to start the presentation until I know that it's working. I'm just looking at chat to see if somebody wants to give me a shout in chat and tell me that you can see my slides. Then we will get started with selling mom jeans. I'm getting messages that some people are not able to see the chat. So let me just say, try again. See if that works. I hate to leave you guys hanging if it's not working. I don't think it's working. No, we need the Jeopardy music. Okay, let's try again. I'm sorry, you guys. We had this problem last time. All right, now let's see. Can you see me now? Andy says, I can see the chat, but not the slides. All right, I just tried again. It says it's sharing my screen, but it said that the last time too. So I give it another second here. There's a little bit of a delay between StreamYard and YouTube. So let's see if it works. Bingo. All right. So this is an introduction to selling mom jeans. We have talked in the group about mom jeans. They remain super popular. So we're going to talk a little bit about what mom jeans are and what kind of money you can make selling them, how to identify them, and just really about some of the timeline about how they became popular. So what are mom jeans? So traditional mom jeans are straight-legged, high-waisted, usually above the navel. They have a moderately loose or relaxed fit, and the denim is usually thicker, stiffer, and it holds its shape. So with jeans that have a lot of spandex, what happens is they're a little bit like nylons, and the longer that you wear them um, throughout the day, the more that they stretch out. In nylons, we call that elephant knees, where they get baggy. So mom jeans do not do that. They hold their shape. One of the things about traditional mom jeans is that they make your bottom look a lot longer and bigger and really flat. They have a high rise, which is, 9 to 12 inches on the rise. They have extra fabric in the legs and the crotch area. They're usually a solid color. And they might also have pleats or tapered legs or elastic waistbands. The Cabin Creek jeans that we talk about, those would be considered mom jeans. Those are traditional mom jeans that moms are actually wearing. The mom jeans that we're mostly focusing on are the ones that are selling to the younger set. So the number one thing about mom jeans is about the rise. They're high-waisted. And high-waisted means that they sit above your natural waist, okay? They do not sit right on the hips. The top of the waist sits above your natural waist, okay? That is the number one thing that makes mom jeans, is that they have a high rise, okay? They're meant, really high rise jeans, when you sit down, they're pretty much touching the bottom of your rib cage. I was talking to Jason earlier today, and we were talking about the first Levi's webinar that I did with him. I was actually inadvertently wearing mom jeans, and I said in that video, as soon as this video is over, I'm going to wash these jeans and I'm going to sell them because they're super uncomfortable, because they do go up so very high. So when you're looking at this graphic, you can kind of see the line across the top. High-waisted, that line is the natural waist. High-waisted sits above that. And if they are sitting below the waist, they're not mom jeans. Even if something else about the jean seems like it would be for an older crowd or are somewhat dowdy looking, things like that, those are not considered mom jeans because they don't have that high rise. And the way that you can tell in the store is you start to get a feel for it, just appearance wise. Some people carry a measuring tape. I sometimes do. I don't generally measure in the store because I know by looking. But if you don't know how to measure the rise, once you've bought a pair of jeans to determine if they're considered mom jeans, you measure from the top of the waistband all the way down to that crotch seam where the two legs meet. That's the rise. That's the front rise. So again, that number should be up between 10 and 12. There are some jeans on the market that fall in the 9 to 9.5 inch rise, and they're marketed as mom jeans. So I'm a little bit flexible on the 9 inch to 9.5. If it's a manufacturer puts them out and they call them mom jeans by the brand and the style, then I go with it. But generally, you want to be in that 10 to 12 inch rise for them to be considered mom jeans. And I don't generally include the back rise in any jeans that I sell. If people ask me for that measurement, then I'll give that to them, but I would include the front rise. So I want to just run through a quick history of mom jeans and how this even became a thing. Um, because they didn't start out as jeans for mom, and where they started out is oddly enough where we are with them right now. Um, when mom jeans were first in style, they actually were not made for moms at all. Um, just Jason, I'm not going to read Jason's comment out loud. So, in the very, very late 80s to the mid 90s, what we now call mom jeans were actually cool kid clothing. When Beverly Hills 90210, the original series, was on the air, they made this vintage, what are now vintage Levi's, with the high waist, extremely popular. They wore them all the time in the show. They wore them with everything. You can see they mixed their washes, dark jackets, and light bottoms. They wore it as shorts. So at that time, it was the kids who were wearing them, right? And the young adults. That was how they kind of came into style in that time frame. And that was kind of like my era, and that's what we wore. We wore them all the time. We generally rolled them up, right? Um, so Andy's asking, can all jeans with a high rise be marketed as mom jeans? Jason just said wuss. So um, in 1992, mom jean shorts, right? Cindy Crawford, she was the it girl. That Pepsi commercial where the throw in the hair back, those are a pair of cut off Levi's. Those were mom jeans. Back in 92, that was sex appeal personified, right? That's people just thought that she was the sexiest thing alive, in part because of that commercial where she was wearing the mom jean shorts, or what we would now call mom jean shorts. Back then, they were just cut off Levi's. Somewhere after that, in the mid to late 90s, that changed, and by the very early 2000s, it was as low as you could possibly get the rise on your jeans. I mean, you were practically showing things that aren't normally shown when you wear jeans. I should have thought that part of my presentation through better. They were just super, super ridiculously low. And that became the style. And what we now call mom jeans just really went out of fashion. And for a long time, everything was low cut. It was well below the navel. Some of them were really, I remember at that point, even as a person in that age bracket, thinking your mom let you leave the house in those. It was just super crazy, ridiculous. So, the waistline did go up a little bit, and then people sort of stopped thinking about it. And then in 2003, Saturday Night Live actually coined this sort of phrase mom jeans with the skit that they did. And if you have never seen the skit, look it up on YouTube after this. It's absolutely hysterical. And the gist of it was, don't buy your mom perfume for Mother's Day. Buy her this brand of mom jeans. They're for women who no longer care about being sexy, and they're for carpool moms. And, you're going to they're sold at J.C. Penney, and you're going to get a free needlepoint vest when you purchase it. It was just, you're no longer a woman, you're a mom, and you're not sexy anymore. And these are the jeans that you wear. And it was just widely mocked. And, even dad jeans, those jokes started being made. So the year after, a brand called Not Your Daughter's Jeans introduced jeans that were supposed to be comfortable, figure flattering, and age appropriate, that were not mom jeans, right? But what happened was that they wanted to market these jeans to adult women, probably women with children, but mom jeans had such a terrible connotation. So, in what I consider to be a piece of marketing genius, they got around the fact that they were marketing them towards moms by going the opposite way and just saying these aren't your daughter's jeans. So the implication of that was, if they're not your daughters, they're your mom's, right? So to this day, I think that was an excellent branding and marketing piece of genius that they did there. And they were super popular. They had a tummy tuck jean that was supposed to suck everything in. And, you know, they did a huge amount of business with those jeans. So, and that brand is still around, and they do still sell, not quite as much. So in 2009, right, Poor Jessica Simpson, well ahead of her time, wore a pair of high-waisted jeans to an outdoor barbecue concert. And the media crucified her over these jeans. Your jean waist is too high. Look at those big pockets. Look at, everything about these jeans they hated. And they absolutely crucified her over that outfit and how, she's a young girl and why is she wearing these high waisted pants and how unattractive it was. And I just read something when I was prepping for this that she said, of everything she's ever done, one of her greatest regrets is that she ever walked out into that concert in those jeans. That's how bad it was. So, she was ahead of her time. I think that they're fine in that I didn't like the belt. Okay, so 2015, Taylor Swift. If you ever listened to the WGN radio interview that I did or have heard me talk about mom jeans before, I absolutely hands down believe that Taylor Swift handed us the mom jean market. She will always be the person that I think brought it. There's lots of celebrities who are wearing them now, but Taylor Swift was a young girl. She was transitioning from being an underage girl in the spotlight as a celebrity who had very young fans, but she was now sort of age. And she made an important decision about the way that she was going to present herself and be in the spotlight, which is she was going to be young and fresh and sexy, but that didn't mean that we needed to see her belly button. Everything that Taylor Swift started wearing around 2015 was high-waisted. She wore high-waisted mini skirts and dresses, ball gowns, you name it. Everything was high-waisted. And we have not seen somebody who's considered to be a sex symbol or a big celebrity that was considered sexy without showing their belly button. It's been a few decades. I think that the last person that pulled that off was Annette Funicello. She wore very high-waisted bikinis back in the day. She was considered to be a major sex symbol, but we didn't see her belly button, right? That was the time. And so what ended up happening was Taylor transitioned from wearing dresses and shorts and things, and she started wearing high-waisted jeans. And then the entire world said, oh, hey, high-waisted jeans, those are cute. Those are cool. I'm going to wear them with everything. And pretty much every time you saw Taylor Swift wearing any kind of denim, it was high-waisted. And this is when the market really started to take off. Bloggers were writing about it, mainstream media was writing about it. The fashion world was taking note that all of a sudden high-waisted jeans were back in vogue, right? And this is really in 2015 when the mom jean market started to climb. And when I really started talking about and really started selling a lot of mom jeans was not for another 3 years. In 2018, in the spring of 2018, which is when I was on WGN radio, it was really the market for mom jeans was skyrocketing. Like that was my favorite kind of jeans to sell. The money was great. I did not think back then that we would still be making mom jean money at this point. I mean, we're 2 solid years later, and mom jeans are still a thing, and they're not going anywhere. Celebrities are still embracing them. The manufacturers are embracing them, right? So we're no longer limited to a small subset of vintage only jeans where we have to find those previously owned Levi's or Guess or some of those other brands in order to make money. These brands are now putting out specifically mom jean brands. They've taken some liberties with them that we'll talk about, but they are still in full effect. And the celebrities are still wearing them. And it's that same relationship that we have talked about between what the celebrities wear and what the manufacturers put out. So as of today, this is the most current 90 days sold mom jeans, okay? 2,691 pairs have sold in the last 90 days. And I set that parameter of a minimum price point of $25 up to $250. So there are more under $25 and over $250. But this is really the bulk of what you're going to see that is realistic and able to be replicated by you when you're out sourcing. So 2,056 of those pairs, of those 2,691 pairs, are previously owned, right? So the bulk of what is being sold is previously owned. That's like 76%, okay? So while we do see some things end up in the thrift stores that are new with tags or have opportunities to do retail arbitrage at places like Ross and TJ Maxx and things that carry new Levi's, and when they clearance them out, they drop those prices drastically. 2015, Terry, is when she really got into the high-waisted and when the press started to talk about this high-waisted fashion. So one of the things that I have tried to teach you is about the sauce method, which is I know going out to the store, when I find X, Y, and Z, this is what I can expect to pay for it. What I want to call your attention to with this particular slide about these mom jeans, and these happen to all be Levi's, okay? You will see every single one of those 9 pairs, the price is crossed out because they accepted a best offer. Some of them were already, 1, 2, 3 of the 9 were already on sale and they accepted a best offer. So you can, if you want, and you have lots of time on your hands, click through every single one of those listings and see exactly what the best offer was. I don't do it that way. I have a store. If you have a store, you have a Terapeak subscription, okay? So the way that you can go about getting an idea of approximately what they sell for is to use the Terapeak subscription as your sauce stirring spoon, okay? So I set minimum price parameters at $25. And then I like to go to the $50 range, and then I like to go to the $74 range. I'm very big on that $74 price point. And so what's interesting about this is if you look and you say, okay, I want to sell mom jeans that sell for a minimum of $25. What you can actually see is, and I capped it at around $225, $250, something like that. What you can actually see is when you want to sell jeans with a minimum of $25, they're actually selling for a minimum of $35. That's the average price point for jeans in there, right? And if I say I want to sell them around $50, when you start looking at jeans that are going to sell for $50 and up, the average sale price is actually $66. And then when you start looking at the $74 to $250, the average price point is $90. So what that tells you is those higher end ones that were listed around $100 to begin with, and they're accepting offers, they're generally accepting offers in that $90 range. Now here's why this is important. Sometimes people will list things on the higher end over $100, even though what you can see in the sold dictates that it's probably selling under $100, right? And it is okay to do that. But if you want to keep cash flow moving and you really want to list things for the price at which they are going to sell, you have to start taking your sauce method and your Terapeak and marrying them together and getting a real idea based on what Terapeak tells you what the average selling price is. And all I put into that was mom jeans, previously owned, and those minimum dollar amounts. So the Levi's wedgie fit jeans. Okay, in 2016, Levi's was like, yep, we were listening to you. We understand that our traditional vintage Levi's make your butt look flat. We have heard the mocking. So they introduced what they call the wedgie fit. And they are exactly mom jeans, but they've tweaked them a little bit. They took their vintage 501 fit and they made them a little bit snugger through the hips and thighs. And then they turned the pockets, they tilted the pockets a little bit so that they go outward a little bit, so that your butt looks rounder. And they took some liberties. They're no longer just, a straight hemline. They've done cropped, they've got some raw edge hemlines, which is very trendy. These are turning up in the thrift stores. Andy just found a pair that he talked about. He found them new with tags the other day for $3.79, listed them on Poshmark. at their actual retail price, and within 20 minutes had, 5 Lakers. Bridget has talked in the group about how she has bought them in a retail setting and they're selling as fast as she can get them. I will tell you that I have sold a pair of these in the last year, and they're my size. So even though I hate mom jeans, I did try them on. And the reason that they're super popular is that they do what they say they are going to do. And it is a different look from behind than traditional mom jeans. But, like many things on eBay, some of our fellow sellers are the reason that we can't have nice things. So what they're doing now is they are inserting the words wedgie fit into their vintage jean listings. This is keyword spamming. Okay? Don't do it. If they are vintage, they are not wedgie fit. I get that people are doing it, but you are opening yourself up to an INAD, item not as described, because they are technically not the Levi's wedgie fit jeans. So, as tempting as it is for people, I'm cautioning you against doing that kind of keyword spamming because no good can ever come from it. It's just not appropriate. If they're vintage, they're not wedgie fit. It's just that simple because they didn't come out with them until 2016. So I want to walk you through a couple of pictures that are mom jeans and boyfriend jeans because I do see a lot of people who end up buying jeans that are considered boyfriend jeans and thinking that they're mom jeans. So the girl wearing the black boots, those are mom jeans, okay? You can see that extra fabric in the leg area. You can kind of see those almost wrinkles. The waist is high, it's above the natural waistline. The other girl, those jeans are loose all the way to the bottom. They're almost slouchy looking. The waist, sits on the hips, and they're baggy in the bottom because these are meant to fit like if you put on your husband or your boyfriend's jeans. That's how they get their name. So just because a jean is, looser and a little bit slouchier doesn't make them mom jeans. You have to really kind of understand the difference between boyfriend jeans and mom jeans because just because they're bigger, doesn't necessarily mean that they are mom jeans. Angela says that she saw some wedgie fit at Marshall's recently. A lot of people find them there. Absolutely. So here's another example. The girl in the leather jacket, those are mom jeans. You can see that extra kind of fabric in the legs and in the crotch area. The other girl, those are boyfriend jeans. They are much slouchier and much more almost uniformly baggy from the waist to the hem. There is I should have put a picture in, there are what are known as girlfriend jeans. And those are boyfriend jeans that are a little bit more slim cut. They're the same idea, but they are meant to be a little bit slimmer. And so what I have decided to do with this webinar is something different than I have done in the past, which is we're going to do a question and answer session. And I'm not going to put the brands list into this webinar, and I will tell you why. Actually, let me go out of the slide so I can see my other screen. So here's why I'm not going to include the brands on the slides. Because that's the whole purpose of the sauce list, okay? And to regularly check things. This video is going to live on in the group forever, right? Some of the brands that I'm going to share with you are going to change over time. Brands are going to come on the list, they're going to come off the list. And so what I'm going to do is to give you a separate document, which then you can also print rather than put them onto the slides. That's not going to do you a lot of good if you want to take the list to the store with you, and then I'll be able to update it with brands that come along. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the list twofold. I'm going to give you the vintage styles, which predominantly in mom jeans, the best ones are mostly the Levi's because there are a few different style numbers, but they all sort of have that mom jean fit. But there are also a lot of modern brands, including Levi's with the wedgie fit, that are super popular and they're doing things. One of two things. You may find them new with tags. You may buy them retail arbitrage, or eventually they're going to start to show up as used in the thrift stores. And when things are super popular the first time around, that generally in clothing does mean when they start to very first hit the secondary market, at least, that they are going to be popular. So I'm going to split that list into two for you, and um, and then you'll be able to print that list and take it with you rather than putting it in here, because then we'll be able to update it to stay current. Terry is asking, do they say wedgie fit in the tag or somewhere? When they're new with tags, they'll be labeled wedgie. What I'm also going to include in this document, I'm going to show you what the PC9 number is. What a PC9 number is it is two sets of numbers that are together, and it is the style number followed by a dash followed by the wash code. Okay, so you can, if you have some of them are marked in the back waistband, wedgie fit. If they're not marked and you're not sure, you can actually search the front half of the PC9 number, and that is going to tell you what the style is. You can just put it into Google and it'll say Levi's, and then you put the style number from the PC9 in there, and it's going to tell you. You can also use it if you want to be very specific about what your wash color is. You can use that as well. I don't generally do that. I usually will just leave it, light wash, medium wash, dark wash, but you can do that if you want to. So I'm going to give you a little sub lesson in the PC9s. The other thing that happened after I did the slide. So the ones that are marked wedgie fit in the waistband have that fabric tag that we talked about. That is generally an indication of low end Levi's. Levi's is clear as mud all the time with their labels and their patches and their tags. In this case, that is not an indication that they are low-end Levi's. That is an indication that they are wedgie fit, and you definitely want to pick them up. I want to also remind you about your price point, right? We talked about this the other day. You cannot set what you're going to spend on jeans based on just an arbitrary number. I don't want to pay more than $3 or $5. It should be relational within your budget to what you can sell them for. If you can sell a pair of jeans all day long for $125, don't shy away from paying $10 for them. If it is in your budget, then you absolutely want to pick them up. So let me just scroll up for a second, because I know there was a question earlier about what is considered mom jeans. Okay. So Andy wants to know, can all women's jeans with a high rise be marketed as mom jeans? These days, pretty much. It used to just be that they were straight-legged and tapered. Now, because the market demanded it, there are all kinds of hemlines. There's cropped raw hem, there's super tapered. They're really, there's like skinny jeans now that are high-waisted that they're calling mom jeans. So at this point, I would say the number one requirement that is an absolute must-have is that super high rise. Aside from that, it's almost getting to be the point where it's all bets are off. As long as it has that, they are starting to come out with a lot of styles, which I like. I like tapered because I wear a lot of boots, and I like my jeans, or high heels with jeans. Is that for all Levi's, vintage and new, the PC? Hi, Jan, the PC9 number. So I know that you guys have been anxiously awaiting the tags and patches lesson, right? And so initially, I was not going to do a separate lesson on the PC9 and the date codes. I was going to include that in the much bigger. What I have discovered is the whole putting together the entire guide through the decades of patches and tags is an enormous undertaking. It's clear to me now why it's never been done. There's so many. It's so monstrous. So I have carved out a lesson on the PC9 numbers and the date codes, because there's two different kinds of date codes, and I'm going to put that up as one lesson. So the PC9 number, I don't know off the top of my head how far back it goes, but it is fairly far. And I will show you where to find it on different kinds of tags. Terry says just learned about the PC9. Yeah. So it wasn't that I was neglecting to tell you guys. I thought it was going to be part of the whole, here's how you decipher the tags. And what I've discovered is, getting through the 50s and the 60s. I'm now through the 60s on patches and tags. And I'm starting to go into the 70s, which is, I still have miles to go. I started out doing it one way, and then I decided to divide it up into chapters by decade. And we'll see. What I may do is start releasing some of the decade chapters one at a time, and then I'll put the whole guide together and put that together for you guys. Andy says, I like the Citizens of Humanity rocket high rise. Yeah, there's a lot of really cute high rise. I wish they were more comfortable. I personally find them horribly uncomfortable. And I've bought more than my share, not realizing that they were going to be that high of a rise, and then I never wear them. When listing jeans, they ask for style or type, and mine aren't jeggings or other options. I've just been putting in jeans. Is that okay? So what they're looking for in style, well, eBay went through this big catastrophe during Q4 where all of the item specifics became a hot mess, and they started asking us for things that don't apply. So we're still suffering some of those effects. They're probably asking you what style they are, and their list is not complete, and there are some things that shouldn't be on the list. So really what they're looking for is, are they flared? Are they wide leg? Are they skinny jeans? And in the group files, there is a guide to determining, what type of jeans they are based on the silhouette. And if you ever have trouble trying to really determine what they are, you can always put up pictures in the group and ask for help with styles. It does get easier as you go along. I will tell you that the difference sometimes between bell bottoms, what would be considered bell bottoms, and flares, for example, can be a little bit tricky. Bell bottoms are generally bigger down the entire leg and then get wide at the bottom, whereas flares are skinnier down the leg and then flare out at the bottom, if that makes sense. So those kinds can be a little bit tricky, but they're probably looking for more specifics about, are they skinny jeans or whatnot. And absolutely, if you're struggling with eBay's item specifics, there is absolutely no harm in calling them jeans in that case, because it is something I'm still working with eBay on. I'm still, as long as we're here, we'll talk about it. So I'm still having an ongoing discussion with them. It says fabric type denim, and denim is a fabric choice on the list. It should not be. Denim in and of itself is not a fabric, okay? There are multiple kinds of denim, right? There's all cotton denim, there's denim that has spandex, that kind of thing. So to just say they're 100% denim isn't accurate, really. And it's not something that I want you guys to be choosing on your listings, because your buyers want to know what that fabric content is. Especially what buyers want to know is if there is a spandex or elastane content to the jeans. People have very strong feelings about spandex in their jeans for two reasons. One, some people want them to be clingy and some people do not, right? So there's fit. But also, and we've talked about this in the group, if you do not take care in the way that you wash your jeans with spandex, if you're washing jeans with spandex in hot water and putting them in a dryer on high temperature, you're going to ruin the fabric. You're going to get those puckers and those pulls usually across the upper part of the leg. That cannot be fixed. It's ruined forever. So people who are buying previously owned jeans with a fabric that has a spandex component to it, they want to know it, because they want to know if there's a possibility that spandex has been stretched out and you can't get it back. The puckering can't be fixed. If your spandex jeans are stretched out a little bit at the end of the day, you put them through the cycle again, they're going to be, tighter again, but that fabric does get really damaged. And if you are washing jeans that are for resale, don't don't use high heat and don't use super hot water because you can really damage that spandex. I have had a couple of questions about whether or not mom jeans that are like the Cabin Creek jeans, which are the elastic waist. They're otherwise very loose. There's not a lot of definition to them. They might just have pockets in the front, or they're pull-on jeans. So pull-on jeans with an elastic waist, the Cabin Creek crowd, specifically that brand, those jeans, I do not market those as mom jeans. Pull-on jeans that don't have any pockets, I do not market those, even if they are high-waisted, unless the manufacturer calls them that. I don't list those as mom jeans. I list those as pull-on jeans, and I will try to squeeze pull-on pants in there as well, because those buyers are looking specifically because they don't want all that extra nonsense. They don't want all the buttons and zippers and things like that. And so those I don't generally list as mom jeans. Angela says, I missed the fabric content when I listed a sell similar. The buyer wanted 100% cotton and my listing was 98%. I happily accepted her return. Yeah. So what I am doing is I am doing what I've always done. I'm filling it in myself, and I'm putting in, if it's 98% cotton, 100% cotton. It is, I'm not going to lie, I love eBay, but it is strenuous right now still with clothing. We're better than we were in October, but we are not everywhere that we want to be yet, or where we should be at this point. We're almost a month into Q1. It's time for them to really fix that. My personal feeling is they feel like they fixed it enough. It's good enough, and it's really not. So it is still cumbersome. I am still passing on the messages that I'm getting in the comments in the group. And when something is 100% cotton, I do put that in my title because people do search for 100% cotton. Whether it's a t-shirt or a pair of jeans, whatever, anything that is 100% cotton that I'm selling, I always fit that into my title, even if I have to sacrifice something else. And he says all of the waist sizes from 24 to 32 inches in women's jeans are missing. People can't find my stuff. Yeah, it's a problem. It absolutely is a problem. You're filling it in yourself in the item specifics. So there is still the option, at least the last time I checked last week, there is still an option where you can type something in at the top and then choose it. Again, I list strictly from the app. I never, ever, if I can possibly avoid it, ever list from the desktop. I don't use my desktop for almost anything. I use my desktop because I have a Dymo, and this Dymo 4XL does not support wireless printing. And I use it to print my shipping labels, and I use it to print my shipping and SKU labels for Amazon. And aside from that, unless I'm doing a webinar with you guys, I don't use my laptop ever. Everything I do is on my phone. It just is. I'm a mobile gal. So I do everything I can to run my business from anywhere. That's part of the freedom of what we do. I've listed things from hotel rooms that I bought on vacation. I know some people are super married to the desktop, but I would at least encourage you to try to learn to do some of those things from the app, because you never know when it's going to come in handy. If your laptop dies, that's not the time to want to try to figure out how to use the app. Angel says, I'm selling more denim on Posh, to be honest. Here's what I think. I think that buyers are as frustrated as sellers with trying to navigate the eBay item specifics issue. And it's just easier to go to Posh and find what you're looking for. I am always going to be an eBay girl, but I will tell you guys, this is information that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks, but I am transitioning to a life in which Poshmark will become my predominant clothing selling platform. I will still cross post to eBay. The way I have worked to this point is that I always list everything on eBay first, and then I will either the same day or within the week or so cross post it to Poshmark. Moving forward, Poshmark is going to become my #1 selling platform, and eBay is going to become secondary. Q4 was brutal for a lot of people. It was very brutal for a lot of people. And Poshmark is just right now, in my opinion, more stable. And I will give you a statistic real quick that once I learned this statistic, I gave a presentation recently at the Chicago eBay and e-commerce sellers meetup a couple of weeks ago, and I presented on Poshmark there. So Poshmark started in 2011, and as of the September of 2018, they had paid their sellers $1 billion, right? They paid out $1 billion in those 7 years. Between September of 2018 and September of 2019, they had paid out their sellers $2 billion. So in 1 year, they doubled the amount of revenue that got paid out to the sellers that it had than in the previous 7 years. So for me, Poshmark is becoming the way of the future for me with selling clothes. That's going to be my predominant selling platform. And I'm going to talk about this to you guys in the group too. As shipping is becoming more expensive, it goes up every year. It's not eBay's fault. Poshmark just has a better shipping deal. So you will start to see more in the group where I'm talking more about Poshmark and selling on Poshmark and selling denim on Poshmark, because that's where I'm going. I will still, of course, talk about eBay, but I am finding more denim is selling on Poshmark, and I think that's because the buyers have had it too. So I don't list the pull-on jeans as mom jeans. I don't list ones that, clearly are mom jeans, but the only thing that makes them mom jeans is they look like maybe something an older mom or maybe an early grandmother or something like that would wear, right? Those to me aren't the mom jean market. The high-waisted mom jean market is really more for the younger to, middle-aged women who like that style, and it is going strong. Like, if you were going to learn anything about selling denim this month, really dig into that mom jean market, because you will find, once you're looking for them, you're going to find a lot more mom jeans out there than you knew were mom jeans. There are several styles from the vintage 90s Levi's, the 501s, the 511s, the 512s, the 550s. These all sell. Same price on Posh. So I'm glad you asked that question, because this is something that I wanted to talk to you guys about, especially when it comes to jeans. People always say to me, do you sell your all of your stuff on the different platforms at the same price? And the answer has traditionally been yes, only because I'm a longtime Amazon seller, and Amazon has policy that says you can't sell it lower on other platforms than you do on Amazon, right? So I did have a lot of things that were on Amazon that I was selling on eBay, including clothing, because I was using multi-channel fulfillment. So it was sort of ingrained in me to use the same prices everywhere. And there are different fee structures, okay? Where it's a little bit different for me is I'm Jeans with Joy everywhere, right? And so it's very easy for people who are like, oh, I bought from her before, to find me on other platforms. Because again, my repeat buyer rate is 15%. Every month, 15 out of every 100 sales is somebody who's bought from me before. I want them to feel like it doesn't matter whether they're using their, their money over here, their money over there, that the item is priced the same. Now, since I've started using that Chrome extension cross-listed, they built a tool into that says you can cross-list to all of these, and you can adjust your prices automatically every time, up, down by dollar amount or percentage. So now it is much easier for me to say, okay, this is the difference in the percentages of the fees from the various websites, and to set my cross-list it up that it works the same way every time. I don't have to think about it. Part of that was just laziness on my part to list it all at the same price. The other thing I want to make you guys aware of about Poshmark, since we're talking about selling denim on Poshmark, Poshmark accepts PayPal from buyers. Okay, so buyers now have a choice about where to spend their money. They can, And I think this also has something to do with the number of people who are moving over to Posh from eBay, right? Managed payments. So a lot of people only like PayPal. They don't want to put their credit card into the managed payment system, and that's fine. But they still have money in PayPal that they want to spend. Poshmark accepts PayPal. So, in fact, they've been running a promotion, which I think is about up, that if you didn't have a PayPal account and you signed up one with the referral through Poshmark, you were getting $10. So there was a huge push on Poshmark's part to sort of partner not just with accepting PayPal from buyers, but to encourage them to sign up for PayPal. So I do think that a lot of these things are playing in together. And if you are not selling your denim or other clothing on Poshmark, I would encourage you to go back to some of our old posts about getting started on and selling on Poshmark, because I really think that buyers are going to move there more and more. And it never hurts to have things cross-posted. It's a little bit of a different animal. It's a much simpler animal. If you're just getting into jeans, right, and you're just getting into, you're getting tired, too many errors. I know how that feels. So if you're just getting into reselling jeans, I would encourage you to learn to sell them on Poshmark. Poshmark's return policy is that they don't take returns, right? Unless you have drastically not described your jeans or there's some undisclosed damage, buyers can't return them, right? So if you're following good listing practices and you're just worried that a buyer might just get them and just not like them, they cannot return them just because they don't like them or because they didn't measure their own jeans and they don't fit. So there's a number of reasons as a clothing seller to start moving to Poshmark. I find on Poshmark that it still is sort of a younger subset of people who buy on Poshmark, and your listing title is much shorter there. So be careful about what keywords you use and make sure that they really are mom jeans before you're listing them as mom jeans. And don't, again, those pull-on jeans, just call those pull-on jeans. Don't call them mom jeans. They really should have those basic tenets of mom jeans in order to call them that. Just see if somebody sent me a message earlier saying I'm not going to be able to watch, but do you find that the stonewashed mom jeans sell? And they do. I definitely find that they sell a lot more in the time leading up to Halloween and right around Halloween, because a lot of people wear those 80s costumes and things like that. And that's true not just for mom jeans, but for stonewashed. You will see an uptick in sales for stonewashed jeans around Halloween because a lot of people do use them for costumes. But I find that the bulk of people who are looking for mom jeans are looking for jeans that can be worn all the time, and probably not as much of the really big acid washed. I said stonewashed, I meant acid wash. See, Terry, I made a mistake too. Andy says, oh, this is important. So Andy says, my return rate on eBay has doubled since Q4. Went from 1.5 to 3%. So there's no getting around that, unfortunately. Q4 really, I mean, this whole item specific thing, we did our best as sellers. I wouldn't worry too much about it. This is a conversation that I actually had with eBay at Open last year. And I said, I don't know if you all remember this, but they said, oh, if we might start charging you higher fees if you have a higher return rate than we think you should have, or some of your peers. And I had a conversation with the executives because I said, look, it's fashion, right? You get something, it's not the right shade of blue. It doesn't fit the way you thought it would. It doesn't fit like the pair that you've washed 20 times. We should not be penalized for that. If you're encouraging us to take returns, it's us, you can't slice us both ways with the sword. Take the returns and then penalize us for taking the returns. And we did have a conversation that they kind of at a certain point realized that they had to carve fashion out of that, because that's just the way fashion goes. So as frustrating as that is, that it would double, mine generally hovers between 2 and 3%, mostly because I will take anything back. I will take, people talk about, Oh, they rented this holiday dress from me. Okay. Use their money for 60 days. Now you're going to get your dress back. You're going to resell. Like, I don't get upset about returns. One, because I'm pretty picky about clothes, and not everything fits me the way that I think it's going to. So, you know, the return rate, as long as you are taking proper measurements and you're doing your best, it's frustrating, but it does come with the territories. And if you look at big retailers, their return rates are much higher than that. If you think about how much stuff gets returned, if you've ever tried to return anything in a retail store and stood in that line that's 20 feet long, waiting for your turn to return, returns happen with clothes. It just comes with the territory. I'm hoping that these continued conversations with eBay are going to result in us seeing some better results in terms of them fixing things. But what I plan to do is to give you guys this list of, I'm going to make a few more tweaks to it tonight, because I'm going to add the PC9 as its own page, and put it in the same document as well. I'm going to probably put that up first thing in the morning, and I'm going to give you, these are some of the most popular styles of what sells, both vintage and the newer stuff that's selling, because I want you guys to keep an eye out for that stuff too. Because the manufacturers have been putting this stuff out 15, 16, 17, 18. There's a lot of mom jeans out there besides those vintage Levi's. Those are not the only ones that you can make money on. And I really would encourage you to spend some time using the sauce method for mom jeans. Set that minimum parameter wherever it is that you want to be, whether it's you only want things that sell at $25 or $50 or whatever your price parameter is. I always set it to previously owned. The bulk of what we're going to sell is previously owned. Then I also want you to go to Terapeak. Once you start seeing, okay, this style sells all the time, this brand sells all the time, what are they really selling for? Going through each listing and looking to see what the best offer that they accepted is a waste of your time. Go to Terapeak and start drilling into some of those averages. I have decided to change my pricing structure on eBay. I've always listed higher to account for sales and best offers and things like that, which has been fine. But as I have a lot of new things on my plate this year, I don't want to play those games anymore. I'm going to take the first 2 quarters of this year and I'm going to experiment with pricing things where they're selling, right? I'm not going to price up and run sales and play a lot of best offers. There'll probably be a little wiggle room. But if the average sale price for what I'm selling is $65, that's where I'm going to price it. Or maybe I'm going to price it at $69 with best offer, but I'm going to close the gap. I've always had a 15 to 20, sometimes 25-ish spread where I would price over what I knew the selling price to be so I could entertain all kinds of offers. I don't necessarily think I want to entertain all kinds of offers anymore. I want to be priced to move this year for time reasons and to keep the cash flow moving. So I will keep you posted on how that is going as well. Jason said I had to run to my office for the last 15 minutes. What did I miss? Well, I still didn't read your comment from earlier out loud, and I probably won't. I haven't. So, Jason, we were talking about the measure of the rise, and Jason said measure it to. All right, he called me a wuss, so I'm going to say it. He said measure it, from the waistband to the taint. I hate that word. Also hate the word crotch. And I was lamenting to my sister about how hard it is for me when I teach lessons about measuring the rise to word them in a way where I could avoid using that word, which I can't, but it drives me crazy. I'm weird that way. Stephanie says you missed all the great stuff. And again, last night I had a whole bunch of slides that I chopped out of this because I want to keep the document of mom jean brands and things to I want to keep that current for you guys. And if I embedded it into this video, then it's going to get stale. So I thought it was better to not put it in the video and give a standalone document that we can update. And, anytime there's a file uploaded, you can comment on it and people are welcome to contribute and we'll include those as well. Andy says we got a fire hose of denim knowledge directly to the face. Yes, Jason, I said it there. Are you happy? Yeah, there's like, that bugs me every time I give one of these. There's an early presentation. maybe one of the first ones I did with Jason, where I was dancing around trying to not say the word crotch on this first video. Like, I just was like, it's not a word that I use. And so I was like stumbling around in that video, like, how can I not say this word? But it just kind of is what it is. Angela says, one thing I'll do is keep a $6 bump in my Posh price and send an offer with free shipping. I only send those on the weekends. You know, I'm a lot more flexible on my price, Poshmark. Buyers are paying shipping 90% of the time, or I'm kicking in $1.80 of it, which is, in my opinion, nothing. You're not shipping anything on eBay for $1.80. You're just not, right? So, and I have made offers to buyer with free shipping. If it's something that's priced, $70 and up, something like that, I will offer free shipping on Poshmark. One of the reasons that I like to send offers on Poshmark is they kind of get those little reminders. I try not to beat it to death. I used to send a lot of offers. I've got 3 new likers. Let me send out an offer. Let me send out an offer. What I want to caution you about is that offer has to be 10% lower than your lowest offer in the last 30 days. And I'm just punting, but it's something to that effect. So if you start diving in as soon as you get something listed and start sending offers, the longer it's listed, the more you're gonna have to chip away at the price to send offers. So wait, get a few, 5, 6, 7 likers on that before you start sending out offers, because you're gonna have to keep chipping away and chipping away. Are there specific brands in mom jeans, or all jeans have mom jeans? Not all brands have mom jeans. Some of the younger brands, Anthropologie and the Gap jeans and things like that, are getting into mom jeans. Some of the higher priced brands are getting into mom jeans. Vintage Levi's has a number of style numbers. I'm going to give you guys that list with some of the more modern ones to watch out for as well, because some of them, let me just tell you, they're charging for a new pair of jeans like $200 for a pair of mom jeans. And so, and buyers are paying it. So again, they will pay us on the secondary market for that, because again, there's those 52 micro seasons in the big box stores, and styles come and go, and by the time you get a pair of jeans and you've worn them enough to know that you really want more of them, you cannot just go to Nordstrom's and buy another pair. I mean, there's some core ones that will carry on from year to year, but all these sort of sub styles that they put out, they change so fast that that's the only place to get them. And one of the things that we're going to talk about in the coming weeks is we're going to talk about retail arbitrage when it comes to buying denim. I know some of you do it. I do it, but I've never really taught it. And I'm going to start teaching it. And I'm going to perhaps have a couple of guests. I am going to extend some invitations for some of the group members who do retail arbitrage to join me for this discussion. And we will try to teach you about getting to know the sales cycles for when retailers have their regular sales, and about how to buy denim and other clothing in a retail setting and resell it for a profit. I could name a few, I'll throw some names out. I know that, Andy thrifts a lot of new with tags, but I think he might do some retail arbitrage. Bridget doesn't even love to sell jeans, and she's done really well with retail arbitrage on denim. Andrew has done retail arbitrage on denim. So, and it's fairly easy to find them on sale, because the stores are stuffed with stuff and they have to keep getting it out of there. So I'm going to try and teach you guys about doing retail arbitrage. And sometimes you can actually buy jeans that are new with tags in a retail store for the same price or less as you can a thrift store. So I thought that would be a good thing to start teaching you guys. Let's see. Andrew, on Posh, you can keep offering just the 10% and we'll send the offer to anyone who liked it after the last offer. Okay. Good to know. I wasn't prepared, and then I just started the other day. I was about to send an offer, and I was like, doesn't that say I have to go 10% below the last one? Do I consider the Paige ultra skinny mom jeans? Let me just look real quick, because I don't, as much as I love Paige jeans and all the jeans that I love, I don't know all the styles and their names off the top of my head because my brain would explode. Um, let's take a look here, and I will put this into the group afterwards. So those are called, they're calling them ultra skinny, high waisted. They are kind of high waisted. I'd have to look at the measurements and see what the rise is. That's where I was saying earlier, they're starting to take some liberties with the leg, how they look, and they are making high rise jeans. They're calling mom jeans, and they're actually skinny jeans with a high rise. And if the manufacturer refers to them as high waisted and mom jeans, those to me, I would market those as high waisted, but I probably would not include mom jeans. Not There are some high waisted jeans that are skinny jeans that I would not call mom jeans. I'll put some examples of those up. They're just not. They're like skinny jeans with a high waist. Mom jeans should, I know, this is where it gets complicated, right? Because the manufacturers are calling that because they're trying to capitalize on it. And there's the part of me that's a little bit of a purist, and I'm like, those aren't mom jeans. So unless the brand actually says they're mom jeans, then what I do, the rise is usually 10 in the front, 12 in the back. So those I would market as high waisted, unless the brand is calling them on their website, which I don't think it is, mom jeans, then I would just market them as high waisted, because that's the other way that you can market these. If you're just really not sure if they are mom jeans or not, or if you should call them mom jeans, but they clearly have that 10 to 12-inch rise, at least put in high waisted, because that is something that buyers are searching for. They're looking for those high waisted jeans and pants. That's the other thing, right? You saw some of those pictures earlier of Taylor Swift. There are other kinds of pants that are considered high-waisted, right? They have that 10 to 12-inch rise. They may not be denim, but they may be pants or shorts. You want to get to learn what those are so that you can market them appropriately, because high-waisted is, and mom jeans are really big markets. And they're still really, there's something very classic about it, right? If you think back about Joan Crawford, if you've ever seen the movie Mommy Dearest, right? She wore a very high waist and she wore those wide leg pants. That's a very classic look. So if you have wide leg pants that have a high rise, I would put high waisted wide leg pants. It's a very my sister's favorite style of pants. Like she loves that. She loves that high-waisted dress pants with the wide legs. There's a lot of women who like that in the office. They wear them with heels and things like that. So remember that high-waisted doesn't just apply to mom jeans. If you're looking at a pair of women's dress pants that have a 12-inch rise, you're going to want to use the phrase high-waisted in there as well. I feel like I missed a question. Let me just scroll up a little bit. Oh, there was another one that someone sent to me before we went on the air that said, "Do you ever market jeans as dad jeans?" And I don't. Dad jeans. Nobody is searching for dad jeans unless they're trying to, look for something that I think might be, for a costume or something. Like, it's just not cool. It's not cool. Dad jeans aren't cool the way mom jeans are cool. So I never market any of my men's jeans as dad jeans. For me, that's a non-market. What else can I tell you about mom jeans? They should generally have pockets, in my opinion. There are some of the newer styles that don't, but I really think most mom jeans do. And I would encourage you also to go and look at the Levi's website at those wedgie jeans, so you can kind of get a feel for what those look like on a model and whatnot. And the vintage ones, it's keyword spamming to call them wedgie fit, but that is where the name came from, because the true vintage ones, that's what they look like. Let's see. Andy, oops. Oh, comments are going fast. And he says the old school Levi's 5112 and 912 were both tapered leg, and the 550s to a certain extent. I really liked the 512s and the 912s. That's what I wore back in the day when I was that was my, that was my era. Is there a document that measured? Yes, in the files, there is how to measure jeans, and then there's another one about how to determine the rise. I can tag you in both of those, Terry. Nobody thinks dad jeans are sexy. No, they do not. And he says dads aren't built like moms. No, and it's funny too because it just goes to show you what society does when it comes to fashion, right? In '92, Cindy Crawford, she was the girl, right? Those were the um, that was sexy. And then somewhere around like in the early 2000s now, that wasn't sexy and stayed not sexy for a long time. Measures the width on legs so we can tell boot cut from wide leg. We do have a document, which I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but I'll also tag you in that um, talks about the silhouette styles and the difference between boot cut and wide leg and things. Unfortunately, there is no industry standard for what they consider to be wide legs or flares and things like that. There is a general idea of what those silhouettes look like, but it's not like something you can measure across and say, okay, this is wide leg. But what I'll do is maybe give you guys, maybe I'll put up a post about high-waisted pants in different styles and things, to give you an idea of what I mean by that. Some of them call them sailor pants, where they're very high-waisted and wide-legged. And no, we're gonna get you fixed up, Terry. We're gonna get you fixed up. To be honest with you, it is super hard. There are times where I'm like, okay, are these boot cut or are they flare? I mean, the differences sometimes can be so subtle. And what I might call a flare, I'll go look it up on the manufacturer's website and find out they call it boot cut. The way boot cut is supposed to work is that they're supposed to be a little bit wider in the leg, right? From like the shin down to accommodate being pulled over boots, right? So one of the ways you can kind of decide whether or not you think your boot cut or flare is, are they a little bit bigger through the leg, right? From the knee down to accommodate, say, a pair of cowboy boots. If they're skinny all the way to almost the ankle and then they flare out, then you know those are flares, unless the manufacturer says otherwise. But that's generally how you can kind of lay them out. And sometimes this is what I do. I will lay it out to take the pictures first and then see how I feel looking down on it. Like I'll lay them out on the floor on my backdrop and stand above it and get or hang them on my clip hanger and stand across the room and get a better feel. Sometimes if you're looking too close up at the pair, it can be kind of hard to tell, is this boot cut or flare? But if you step back or step above it a little bit and then take a look at it from there, you're like, oh, I see now. They're super skinny until they flare out at the bottom. Or, gee, those look really much wider down the leg. So do not feel bad about it if you're like, I don't know which these are, because it actually, happens to everyone. There's times where I'm like, I've sent pictures, to people and said, would you call this flare? And that's not our fault. That's because the manufacturers take liberties with styles. They push the limits. And, if the phrase boot cut is popular that year, then they label all their jeans boot cut. If flare is popular, then they call them all flares when they're really not. So they've kind of bastardized some of the styles over the years. So we're also, one of the things we're going to talk about coming up is we are going to talk about maternity jeans. I don't buy them a lot, mostly because I just forget sometimes to go to that section and look for them. But there is money to be made in maternity jeans. And I've had a lot of people ask me about kids' jeans. We've had members of the group who've done very well. They find a lot of kids' big E Levi's. I don't, because again, I'm not shopping for little ones and I, forget to go and check that department, but we will, I'm not exactly sure when, but soon we will talk about kids denim. I don't buy and sell a lot of just run-of-the-mill kids clothes, but there are people, especially if you have little ones, we'll talk about how to get some of your money back on those clothes that they, that fit them for 3 months, and that kind of thing. Because, sometimes it's not about making huge money, but it's getting money out of something that you didn't use or didn't use enough, and you just want to get a little bit of money back. We'll talk about selling kids' clothes in lots and things like that. And then we're going to talk about those PC9s and the date codes. I'm pulling that part out of the bigger lesson on patches and tags. We'll have a lesson on that. It'll still be in there when it's all done, but I'm still vacillating whether I want to put things out by decades, because I'm still in the organizing sort of portion of putting that big guide together. And there are things that run through decades, and I'm still working my way through, and I'm not sure that I want to put things out prematurely. We'll see. We will see. But it is a much bigger undertaking. I know I've been promising it to you guys for a while. I knew it was going to be a big undertaking, but it's even bigger than I thought. I'm actually horrified by the number of patches and tags and things that they have. I passed on a pair of women's Levi's 517s made in the USA, probably a 10-inch rise. Can they be marketed as mom jeans the way 550s can? Yes. With a 10-inch rise, the 517s, I have seen them marketed as mom jeans. They're, the rise is it's on the edge. That 10 is generally accepted as being the minimum. Which I play a little bit fast and loose with the 9 to 9.5, depending on how the rest of the styles is. But yeah, I think that you absolutely could, Andy, because really the number one component is that super high rise, which I find to be wildly uncomfortable myself. So there's going to be a list probably tomorrow morning, because I want to make it super complete, and it'll be a printable list. And I will include a second page on that document with the examples of the PC9. But I'm also going to be putting up a lesson on the PC9 and the date codes this week. That'll probably go up at the end of the week on Friday. That is one of those things. So I'll say, I want to show you guys this. And it's a tag or a patch or something where it's like, it's Visa. It's everywhere I want to be until I'm looking for it, and then I can't find what I'm looking for. So there's one more type of date code patch that I want to include in that lesson, but we should see that by Friday, if not sooner. Also, if you are watching this later and you have questions about mom jeans that we did not cover here, you can drop them in the comments. I will see them and I will answer them as we go along. I don't think I saw her name in the chat, but if you are watching, I did see your post with the pictures of the 701s, and we're going to talk about 701s, and in part because I never find them, and I'm super jealous about that. So the other thing, once I put the document up, if you guys have brands that you want to contribute to that list, you can always drop them in the comments and I can add them as we go along. Because there are so many out there. Like, it would just be impossible for me to tell you every single one of them, but I want to give you a big jumping off point. And again, charge for shipping. Start looking at your shipping costs, because we're January 26th, the Petit flat rate's going to go up. I charge a flat $7.33 because that's what I pay with my top rated seller discount for a Petit flat rate envelope. I need to update my listings. The few that I have, I'm still way slacking on listing. I'm going to have to update those. So if you are charging what you're paying for the Petit flat rate, you're going to have to update those listings in the next few days here. And I just want to make sure that I didn't miss any questions. And if I did miss your question, go ahead and drop it in the comments of the post and I will answer it for you. I'm super excited that you guys, so many of you were able to join me tonight. And if you're watching it later, hello to you too. And if we didn't cover what you want to know about mom jeans in this video, you can ask in the comments. So I'm going to wrap it up. It went a little bit longer than I was expecting, but I talk a lot, so sorry. I hope that you guys all learned something, and that you will get out there and buy some mom jeans and sell them. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.